Right, a quick review of something a little bit cheaper than normal. It's not all Steyrs and Romanian fancy telescopic sights and Swarovskis and Spartan bipods and whatnot. Every now and again, cheap and cheerful gear comes this way, and this is one of them. And basically, this is a very, very lightweight BSA 1-inch, fairly basic Essential hunting rifle scope, and it is the 3 to 9 by 40 WR version. And as you can tell by the fact that it's called Essencial rather than Essential, I think it's actually probably a Gamo product that's been marketed by BSA. And apparently this has these new Tonics adjusters, because there were some reviews of these scopes, these Essential range of BSA scopes when they first came out, saying that the turrets weren't very good, they were prone to fall to pieces, the adjusters came away and all sorts of things. So I think obviously they've listened, and according to the box anyway, they have changed it. Now these are quite cheap, come in really quite cheap, cheap and cheerful scope. This one ranges from about 40 quid to 50 quid, something like that. And to be honest with you, I wanted it for one of my springers. Nice lightweight, nice and simple, nothing too fancy. A dead easy scope to mount, and a nice lightweight scope that won't add too much weight to a big heavy springer. So, I have already opened this, so it did come in a bit more of a protective packaging. So first thing, you get rather nice instruction book in all the languages that you could possibly imagine. Bit of information on all the different things, different types of reticule that they do, how to mount it, basics on how to zero it, and some basics on using the mil dots that are on the scope. So you got that. Then you get a little Allen key, and there was a little cleaning cloth in here as well. And these scopes come with the mounts ready attached, like a lot of the cheaper end of various manufacturers. Hawk do a ready mount one, and I think Nico Sterling do theirs as well. They all come with the mounts ready fixed. In all fairness, these mounts pretty basic, but they look okay. They have got a recoil stud fitted in them, which is quite handy. They come with your standard bikini transparent lens covers, and one of them is a tinted yellow colour. And all in all, the quality of it is pretty good, to be fair. There's a little bit of tightness on the zoom. It's not too tight, but it's, you know, it's not going to give. No parallax on it. Bear with me a second. Don't know whether you'll be able to see down this, but it's got a fairly basic. I'll get it against there. No, it's not going to focus in, I don't think. Oh, there we go. So that's the reticule. Fairly simplistic, with a couple of mil dots on it. So a fairly straightforward, simple reticle on it. And what I do like about this particular reticle on this one, it's a little bit finer than the Hawk cheap and cheerful range. The reticle on the Hawk ones is a little bit thick. This one is a little bit thinner. I'm having trouble getting it, but I mean, that's out of focus, but you get the idea. Yeah, you get the basic idea. So the reticule on this is a little bit slimmer than the one on the Hawk version of this. Other than that, the specs of them are around about exactly the same, to be honest. Possibly prefer the looks of the Hawk version of this, but having said that, it's just a really basic scope, no frills at all, nothing. I am impressed with the glass, and this is really surprising because in recent years I remember a time when cheap telescopic sights, the lenses were diabolical. You know, the pictures were cloudy and milky and not at all good, and slightest bit of sunlight and everything was chromatic aberrations everywhere and generally not very good at all. But recently, even really cheap scopes, you know, like 40 quid for a sort of 3 to 9 by 40. You know, you wouldn't probably imagine you're going to get very much in regards to the optics, but they're actually very good, very clear, perfectly usable image. I'm really impressed with that. Actually, it surprised me. It's really good. The image is very good. Diopter's nice, and you know, you've got a big range of diopter there. The eye box is quite nice on it. Nice clear image. Now these adjusters, just dead straightforward. Finger click. You know, you've got an audible, a fairly quiet audible click. There is, you see that there? There's a bit of give in the mechanism before it actually clicks to move on, and there is a bit of a rattle on it. Oh, you can see that. So you've got a bit of movement there before it actually engages. Now on the Hawk version, that doesn't seem to be apparent. I mean, once it clicks in place, it doesn't unclick. You know, it's not drifting, but there is a bit. It's not the most perhaps precise click arrangement there is going. But for 40 quid, you know, what do you expect? You get a scope and the mounts. The optics are pretty good. The reticule's really quite nice. The zoom range seems to work quite well. At the lowest and even the highest, the optical clarity is still pretty damn good. The eye box is okay. The diopter settings got loads of room on it, so you know it's going to accommodate anybody's eyes, I would have thought. You know, when you get that everything you need really, you get covers, the whole lot. It appears to have some sort of coating on it. I don't know what it is. It's probably only coated on the end lenses, but at least it's got some sort of coating. And whatever they've coated it with seems to work. I'm not going to claim that it's going to have the best of early morning or dusk performance, but certainly in the daylight and even on an overcast day when I've had a quick look through it, it appears to be pretty good. You know, it's pretty good for the money. So yeah, I think it's all right. I don't think they've quite solved the problem with the slightly sloppy turrets. They're not going to fall to bits. These they seem quite, you know, they're a solid turret, but there is that little bit of leeway on the adjustment when it sort of moves around a little bit. It doesn't move around on the clicks, and it doesn't move around on the zeroing, but it doesn't feel particularly firm, if you know what I mean. When you're clicking it in, there is still some movement on there. Nice anodized, sort of matte finish to it. Looks really nice. The finishing's really nice. You know, there's no marks on, no obviously machining imperfections or anything. Nitrogen filled, so you know, even the little badge is fairly well finished and shoved in the side there. So all in all, yeah, it's alright. It's quite a nice little scope really. And if you've got a spring rifle and you want to keep the weight down, yeah, perfect. You know, perfect. Or if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a scope, put it on a second or third knockabout rifle, then this will do. So all in all, cheap, cheerful, but usable. And you've got to remember that at one time, cheap scopes were rubbish. You know, the rets had snapped because they used to use proper wire on them. The optics were appalling, but now even the cheaper end of the scopes are still perfectly acceptable for use on your rifle. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.